I really have to explain the joke? Somebody look it up. Okay, whoa, buddy. What the fuck did you expect? I always like to have a portion of my show where I ask the crowd, is there anything that I haven't talked about tonight that you'd like for me to talk about? Yes. The great replacement theory. You're gonna have to explain this to me a little bit, just because I've heard about it a few times and I don't know if I fully understand what it means in the broad sense, because if you're talking about it here, I've heard about it in the United States. Is it also it's a global theory, okay? And does it have to do with immigrants? Okay, then I know what you're talking about. So the great replacement theory is that immigrants there's some kind of massive conspiracy to replace white people with immigrants at every level. Like, my question is, then where do the white people go? Like, what? If immigrants are taking all the jobs, does that mean white people at that point just won't work? But will they still be getting benefits? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound that bad. White people just kicking back and getting benefits while all the people of color work? Dude. Sounds like plantation times all over. Actually, I was in London last night, and slavery came up as a topic, and a woman in the crowd was like, "Well, we ended ours first." I was like, "Yeah, you also started it first. Don't play that play that game with me." That's like if you give me syphilis, and then I'm out there giving other people syphilis, and you take the medication first. You're like, "Well, I cured myself first." Like, you gave me syphilis, and we're both still assholes who gave people syphilis. It's a great analogy. But yeah, the great replacement theory, it's interesting. It's interesting that we're worried about that more than AI. You know what I mean? Because that's, for people of color who are, currently taking jobs of white people, we're worried about AI coming and taking it. So it's like, grass is always greener on the other side. I wish I was white and worried about actual people taking my job. We got to worry about robots. And then the AI, what are they worried about? You know what I mean? They're worried about newer additions taking their job. They're worried about software updates. That's all we are to these white people, the software update. Like, listen, I like to have sympathy for people, and if you're white and you're, worried that someone's going to take your job, it doesn't make sense to me that you would be worried that they're going to take your job because they're from another culture, in as much as they're going to take your job because they're going to work harder at it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like great replacement theory makes sense if you're worried about people replacing you who are going to work harder. At that point, you just work harder than the people who you're worried about replacing you. And that's why with AI, it's fucking hopeless, because AI can work infinitely faster than all of us. So really, at the end of the day, that's when I think all these race wars are going to end, when the robots come. When the robots come and we have to fight for our lives. Fuck that. It's not, are you white, black, or brown? It's like, it's either us or the robots. I already know the end. I know who wins. It's the robots. So, enjoy these race wars while you can. These are the fucking. We're gonna look back on this one day when our organs are being harvested in the metaverse. Okay, we're gonna look back on this and be like, man, I miss race wars. What else?
Being an ethnic minority in a Western country.
Being an ethnic minority in a Western country, replace it. Didn't we just talk about that? Being an ethnic minority. I mean, yeah. In the United States, we're always our Republican politicians are always like, look what's happening in Europe. Look what's happening in Europe. They're gonna do it here. Like, what's happening in Europe? They're baking a lot of baked goods. Is there any country in Europe that actually has a substantial, very significant rise in an ethnic minorities population? And I mean, I'm talking 5 to 10 percentage points. France. Okay. So and who is it? Algerians. Oh, what a surprise! It's literally just like Britain complaining about Indian and Pakistani people. It's like, what the fuck did you expect? You literally took fleets of ships over to a part of the world that was not near yours. You put your flag down, you colonized, you said, our objective is to exploit the resources and get these people to act as much as possible like us. Flash forward, they show back up at your door, they're like, we're back! What the did you expect? You taught them how to be you, of course they're gonna come back to your house and be like, hey, I'm ready! Great, so Algerians taking over France. Sorry to say, I'm for that. I'm for that. I'm for that. I'm for that. All right. Anything else?
Far-right leader compared herself to MLK.
Here in France?
Yeah. She was condemned to stealing 4 million euros from the European Parliament.
Oh wow.
Conference afterwards, after she was fined and guilty, and she said she was persecuted like Martin Luther King.
Wow. Wow. You sure it was Martin Luther King and not just Martin Luther? So, okay, so far-right leader, what's the party called? One person. One person, please. What is it? National Rally? Okay, the national, and then there's an abbreviation for it? Okay. I'll let you do it. So there, and that is, as far as we know, well, it's maybe not the furthest of right parties, but it's the far right party that has the biggest backing, maybe, in France. She's actually a member of parliament.
Yes.
She's a member of parliament, and how many parliament members does this party hold seats? How many parliament members do you have total? 500, and then how many does this far right party have seats? Like over 200? Over 100. 100. 1 out of 5. I'll tell you what. When a far right party holds 1 out of 5 of your seats, it ain't that far right. Okay, it's pretty. Your country's kind of averaging to that. Sorry to break it to you. How many other major parties are there? 3. It's complicated, but if we're talking about parliamentary seats, who has the most seats?
Nobody.
Okay, guys. Let's act like adults here, okay? I can count, okay? Unless they all have an equal number of seats, one motherfucker has more seats, okay? That's how numbers work, all right? Sorry to break it to you. You can't just write off your politics. Well, they all have the seats. They all have. Nobody has them. I don't know. I can't count. There's so many. There's so many seats. Which one?
The group who had the more seats at the last election, they weren't called for the government. That's the problem in France for 1 year now.
Macron did
A coup d'état. And I'm assuming it works. So the majority, the party that has the majority seats, they are basically in charge, right? No. Like, not so fast, American. You do not understand us. You need an absolute majority. And so because there is no that right now, it's just free for all. You're like, we have no government right now. And that's what? Oh, so for the first time, your president is ignoring the results of an election.
Democracy.
Yeah, sounds very familiar, yeah. That's been like the last 3 elections in my country. You're saying technically there's no majority party around, there's no party in charge, but theoretically one of them has the most seats. I would just like to know which one that is. That's all I'm really not trying to bug you guys all night about this. I would just like to know who numerically. It's the far right one? No. Somebody had. It's a coalition, so there's several parties within the. Okay. I see the technicality that we're hung up on. Okay. So let's start by counting coalitions as a unit. Okay. So the coalition of the left has the most seats, but Macron, he what? He refused to give them the ministry. Why is that? Because he what? He can't. He can't legally, or he can. He can legally, but he refuses to because he's busy. I have too many things going on. I can't choose one of you right now. Just do your thing. What? Yeah. He should have done it. Should have. That's a great standard to measure your leaders by. Should have. Very depressing. Okay. So, yes. He called for the election. And then the election happened. It didn't work out the way he wanted it to. So he's like, actually. So basically, your form of government right now is hold that thought. The left are pro-Palestine? The entire coalition? Okay, whoa, buddy. Whoa. We're not living in the dream world yet. So like the Liberal Party averages to like a liberal Zionist, right? Right, more or less. But within, there's a handful of left parties. How many? You say 4 or you say 1? There's 2. 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4. I feel like we're on a recurring algorithm right here. 2, 2. So it's 4. It is 4. It's been. I see more 4s in the hand. So there is about 4 parties, and within that coalition, is there one of those parties that really is the majority? And which one is that? The which one? Elephant? Y'all are Republicans? What's that? Can you just give me letters to, yeah, what was that? The Greek letter phi. I'll work with that. So that's yours? L? LFI. Nailed it. LFI. LFI. They spelled life incorrectly. LFI. Okay, good. That's why I thought elephant. That makes sense. Okay, I'm not just hearing things. So LFI is it holds the majority of seats within this Democratic coalition. Approximately how many seats does LFI have? 80. 80, which is still less than the far right party. Okay, and then outside of this leftern coalition that has 4 parties within it, the majority having 80 seats, you have this far right party, and then what? And then Nepo Baby, is that the party's name? Are they just like really? Are they just really like on the nose about it? They're like, we're Nepo Babies, all of us. Well, what? That's it. Oh, there's like the right, the center right, and how many seats do they have? About the same as the far right. Somebody look it up, dude. I've been up here asking the same question for 20 minutes. Just pull out Google and give me a numerical answer. It's about what? About similar. Oh, okay. So the biggest party within the center-right coalition also has about 80, but the center-right coalition has 100. Oh, it has 80. Oh, okay. So literally, it sounds like the singular party with the most seats is the far-right party. Yes. And so the leader of this far-right party got caught stealing, embezzling money from Parliament, from the European Parliament. Well, I'm for that. But stealing, basically embezzling money from the European Parliament, and got called out for it. 4 million? That's not that much. 4 million, 4 million. Yeah. So 4 million euros, right? And basically got called out for it. She's convicted, like actually of crime. And she's banned from running for president for 5 years. Wow. The great replacement theory is real. But what? MLK, so, and Martin Luther King Jr., right? The same one that I'm familiar with, right? She said, wow, convicting me for taking this money from the European Union?
No, she's saying that it's a coup from the left, and that the justice system in France is for the left, and then they are like stopping her from
Yeah. Yeah. And she said, is she denying that she did this, or is she? Oh, she's saying, she's like, I never seen that money. They're saying no. Is she denying or is she not denying? She's saying I maybe saw the money. Maybe I took so what? Maybe I took the 4 million. Okay. She's like, maybe I took the 4 million, but you know what? I have a dream. I have a dream that French Parliament members will not be judged by the name of their political party, but by the number of seats they hold in Parliament. Better keep away from a window, for a balcony. All right. So that happened. What else? Yes, you have a question, yes.
Yeah, you mentioned Michael Moore, but you didn't mention...
I mentioned Michael Moore? Oh, Macklemore. It's like, I did not bring up the director, Michael Moore, once during this entire show. I like what he says, but I did not bring him up. Okay, Michael Moore. But not DJ Khaled. Yeah, I wonder why I did that. She's like, you did not give credit to the great DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled, he's not even worth bringing up anymore. Dude he's Palestinian by blood, and literally has mentioned it maybe a couple times in his career, but since the genocide of these last few years, not one statement. He even appeared on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and they brought out maklouba, famous Palestinian dish, and they're like, oh, we brought your favorite dish. He's like, oh, maklouba. They're like, what is it called? He's like, maklouba. Didn't even mention that it was Palestinian. And then they just watched him devour it right there. He's like, oh, maklouba. And it was just so stupid. And like for a while, he had to disable comments on his Instagram because everybody was so pissed at him. Like he would just post a video of him eating in front of his kids, and people would just comment, you fat talk about Palestine. Like it was really bad. But anybody, people should just know we've disowned them, and there will not be another one. Anything else?
One more for the road. How badass our Yemeni brothers are.
Yeah. You know what? Not even one more for the road, one more for the seas, my friend. Okay. That was really good. One more for the seas. Okay? The boat. One more for the boat. Yeah, well, really? If I said boat, it would have made more sense to you? One more for the road. The road is the thing the car drives on. Okay? One more for the seas, where the ships sail on the Red Sea. Do I really have to explain the joke? I'm gonna have to record this, put it on YouTube, explain it to TSA next week. What the What's that? Yes. Yeah. Oh, Macron? He's recognizing Palestine, but not his own government. I mean, if it works, it works. That's how much in political gridlock he is. And he's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to recognize Palestine. Because she got convicted? Oh, he can't. He has to distance himself from them. So now he's like Mr. Free Palestine. Wow. Yeah, what language? He's like, you know what? I could. He's like, if I could, maybe I could recognize Palestine. Well, not surprising. But Macron, how long is he in power for, technically? So forever, basically. What party is he part of? No party. He's in no party. He's not fun. Nobody invites him to parties. He's not party animal at all. He's the center right. Well, that's kind of what he favors, right? He's the right. But he created his own party for himself. Macron, party of one. He what?
His party had the same initials as his own name.
Oh, really? EM? Huh. So that's funny, because his party's name is EM, and that's kind of what he does to stall when he can't make a decision. He's like, I could recognize Palestine. All right, one last one, because I can sense people are getting. The fall of capitalism. Well. You really saved the best for last, didn't you? What a great way to end the show, too. Now, we've had fun tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but as we know, all good things come to an end. Do you think it's inevitable? Do you think that we're falling deep into the dark abyss of Inshallah? Inshallah. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like oligarchy. Okay? I don't like oligarchy. I don't like big business, big corporations interfering with government. Unfortunately, that is the world that we live in. One of my favorite books of all time is Plato's Republic. And Plato's Republic talks about the ideal society and what the ideal society is. And basically, Socrates says that in the ideal society, you have like this society that's completely like walled off from the rest of the world. You got to build a wall around it. You got to have guards making sure people don't come in. That's what they're trying to do in the United States. And but in that ideal society, everybody has to have a specific job, and you can't meddle in each other's businesses. And also, there can't be artists because art mimics life and it makes people sad. So you can't do that. So that place sounds like it f***ing sucks. Okay? But he says one day there may eventually be the ideal society, or maybe it existed a long time ago, and then it will eventually decay slowly into lesser forms of government. And the first level of decay is, I believe, called timocracy, which is where they're obsessed with victory and winning wars. I think we're kind of there too. And then that decays into oligarchy. So like, oligarchy is also very much where I feel like a lot of the world is. And then he says oligarchy decays into democracy. So democracy is even worse than all of these. And then he says from there you go to tyranny. The cool thing about Trump is he took us from 5 to 1, like in the first. just like within a month. It was really, really awesome. But when it comes to capitalism versus socialism, I'll ask an honest question, okay? Who in this room identifies, like, firmly as a socialist? Okay, great. That is about 25 people in a room full of 300, okay? Now, notice this difference when I ask this question. Who here firmly identifies as capitalist? One person, okay. Okay, you're okay. You're okay. See, it's very rare that people are willing to admit this. I hate to fucking break it to you. We're all capitalist pigs, okay? We live in a fucking capitalist society, and unfortunately, we do actually consume things that are products of capitalism. Doesn't mean that you have to support the ideal of it, you have to support it to the fullest extent. However, we are living in a capitalist society, and we're also getting the pros and cons of it, whatever. I've never personally lived in a socialist government. I don't know what it's like. I've heard stories of it working. I've heard stories of it not. But I do know that the capitalist system that we live in currently, with the emphasis on oligarchy, billionaires interfering with our government, and all of the horrible that comes with the product of capitalism, like exploiting the resources of other parts of the world, genocide, ethnic cleansing, land theft. For all that reason, this particular form of capitalism that we have is not sustainable, and I agree with you that it is rapidly falling apart. I believe the Western Empire is crumbling. I believe that soon enough, the Great Replacement will happen. But I don't know what form of economy or what form of, society will replace it. I don't know. Depends on how you define it. Absolutely. It's all about definitions. Right. End of the day, most people are going to want some kind of private property. Like if I run up and take your sandwich, you're going to be like, that's my sandwich, Unless you preemptively cut the sandwich in two. And then now we both have a sandwich. So, yeah, how small do you want your sandwiches? I think that's the big question. How small do you want your sandwiches? So that's your homework. I want you guys to think about that. So yeah, fall of capitalism, I don't know. I guess it is happening, but I don't know if it's the fall of capitalism in general or just this particular form of capitalism that we have. I know that it is not sustainable. But I will say, keep buying tickets to my shows because those are not going to be free. You understand me? Okay? But I love the concept of socialism. I love the ideals, and I love socialists. Socialists come to my shows. They always give me a pamphlet. They're like, check it out. It's good. Read it. I'm like, trust me, I've read it before. They're like, no, this one's different. I'm like, no, they're all the same. Socialism. And I always have the conversation with my socialist friends and comrades, if you will. I always have the conversation because I like to hear what they say. And I never want to alienate anybody who has a specific point of view. So really, I treat my socialist fans the same way like I do my gay fans. Like, I let them think that I could be so they keep showing up.